Good evening. It was a sight to see around downtown Fayetteville today as hundreds of cyclists zip by in the final day of the Joe Martin stage race. 5 News reporter Jocelyn Pruna explains why the race means so much more to its supporters who remember the man who started it all 36 years ago. Between the drought, the major fluctuations in temperature, and now the recent rains, we've definitely had some seriously wacky weather this spring. 5 News reporter Katie Corman visited with some local gardeners to see how the weather has affected their plants. Coming up to crime scene marker number 14, and you can see the blood. The person who was stabbed multiple times, according to Springdale police, crossed the street, and he died right there on Morrissey Street. I got to tell you, seeing the power of those flooding waters in person on Thursday and Friday was amazing.
Crazy stuff. 5 inches of rain, a couple hours, man, incredible.
Yeah. Don't drive into that kind of water ever. For the latest news and weather and video from our newscast, go to 5newsonline.com, and we'll see you back here at 6. CART will be open when they do. Reporting live in Fayetteville from Dixon Street, Scott Miller, 5 News.
Got himself a snack.
Benton County is in the rebuilding phase after last week's flash flooding. It washed away roads and bridges, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. 5 News reporter Jocelyn Pruna takes us down a dirt road badly in need of repair. Good evening. Some breaking news we're following out of Washington County. The bomb squad unit from Bentonville has been called to a report of a suspicious item in Washington County. A man fishing off Kettle Springs Road says he saw an item in the water that appears to be a pipe bomb. No confirmation on whether the item is in fact an explosive. Keep it here with 5 News for the latest. A sigh of relief this morning in Boston as a manhunt ends in the capture of the second marathon bombing suspect. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev remains in serious condition at a heavily guarded hospital as federal terrorism charges are expected to be filed soon. But there's still many questions left unanswered. We'll have the latest on the investigation in just a bit. First, a fantastic day for fans to enjoy the outdoors. Meteorologist Tyler Southard is here now with a first look at your forecast. Tyler?
Yeah, Scott, after a rough week.
All right, thanks, Tyler. The suspect in the Boston Marathon bombings is in serious condition and still has not been charged. People around Boston are trying to get their lives back to normal while investigators continue to search for clues about why and how the suspects planned and executed the bombings. Adriana Diaz has the latest from Boston. The FBI says they did have contact with the oldest brother in 2011. They looked into him after a foreign government flagged him, but officials say they found nothing suspicious. A new coach, a new season. A big day for Hog fans today. The annual spring game kicked off this afternoon at Razorback Stadium, and just outside, young fans sported their pride for Razorfest. 5 News reporter Jocelyn Pruna has more on the pregame activities. The Razorbacks will kick off the season at home against Louisiana Lafayette. Time for the kickoff has not yet been set. We'll have more on the spring game coming up in sports with Chris and Bobby. A River Valley town is a little cleaner tonight after hundreds of people spent the morning picking up litter left behind. 5 News reporter Katie Corman caught up with the volunteers working together to beautify their community.
This is where I live. 5 News.
Beautify Fort Smith also encourages people to swap plastic bags for reusable cloth bags to help reduce waste. Today's cleanup comes 2 days before Earth Day, and that's what kids and parents were learning all about today at the Janet Huckabee Arkansas River Valley Nature Center in Fort Smith. Earth Fest featured a whole day of events starting at 9 this morning and lasting all the way through this afternoon. Today's event was free to the public. The city of Waldron is on a precautionary boil order tonight. City officials say it's due to a break in the main line. The order is in effect for residents west of Main Street until at least Monday. More than 100 people are dead, thousands injured after a strong earthquake rattles parts of China. It's the same region that suffered a catastrophic quake 5 years ago. The USGS puts the magnitude at 6.6, while the China Earthquake Network Center has it at a 7.0. It was followed by a series of aftershocks, some of them as strong as a 5.1. Thousands of emergency workers, including soldiers, have been sent to the affected zones. The death toll currently stands at 113, with more than 3,000 injured. Across the nation, FEMA says federal disaster assistance is now available to Texas after President Obama declares a state of emergency. The death toll from a fertilizer plant explosion in the city of West rose to 14 yesterday. The assistance from the Federal Emergency Management Agency supports state and local response efforts. The explosion damaged not only the plant but nearby homes. The blast even registered as a 2.1 magnitude earthquake. Still no word on what caused that explosion. Today marks 3 years since the worst oil spill in U.S. history began unfolding in the Gulf of Mexico. The Deepwater Horizon oil rig exploded, killing 11 people on April 20th, 2010. The government says almost 5 million barrels of oil leaked into the Gulf before BP was able to pull the plug on the gushing well. A federal court ordered Transocean, the company that owned the rig, to pay $400 million in damages in February, and that's the second largest environmental fine in U.S. history. The nation's airlines are asking a federal court to stop the impending furlough of air traffic controllers. The airlines contend the cuts could cause major delays, up to 6,700 flights a day, with wait times up to 4 hours in the worst-case scenarios. The FAA is starting the furloughs tomorrow. It says travelers could see an impact as soon as Monday. The FAA and the airlines disagree on whether the furloughs are necessary.
If you're out there, take a picture, send it to us. ipics@kfsm.com.
And thankfully, we're out of time. You have a great week. We'll see you next weekend, I think. The gain will be money. Money that cyclists and fans will kiss goodbye. And it'll land in the pockets of Northwest Arkansas business owners over the next 4 days. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of free agents this year not getting big money.
No, 96, but $0 guaranteed, so that could be a bit of an issue there.
All right. When we come back, Tyler will have another look at your forecast for this upcoming week. If you need help, there are more than 100 of these emergency phones on the University of Arkansas campus. Most of them were installed back in the 1980s before a change in technology. Now, U of A police say most people call for help on their cell phones. And of course, you can always find us online at 5newsonline.com, the latest news, weather, sports, and video from our newscasts. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. This wasn't just a house. It was a home built by Mitchell Jones and his father. Dad died last year after an 8-year battle with cancer.
So it's all still shell shock and or whatever you want to call it at this point. So I don't know. Yeah, it hurts. I mean, it hurts to lose a house, but I mean, especially when you built it.
Mitchell, his fiancée, and 2 children lived in the house. None of them were home when it started. Several members of the Jones family live close by, or there might not be anything left.
My sister come down at right around 1:40. She come by, called me. I was working at the shop and said, your house is on fire. And I said, what? The house is on fire. So I come down and started putting water on it and waited for the fire department. I mean, what do you do?
From the outside, the front of the house looks okay. But once you get inside, it's a different story.
Let's take out what we can take out, salvage what we can, and the rest of it's gone.
He's lost his father, the home he and his dad built with their own 2 hands. And yet tonight, Mitchell Jones hasn't lost his sense of humor.
Yeah, this is the good part of it back here, where you have, I guess you call it a skylight.
In Goshen, Scott Miller, 5 News. These kids love to play, love to perform, and they love to travel.
Last year we went to Dallas, so this is one of our bigger trips.
Senior Adrian Smith remembers his favorite trip.
That would have to be Disney World, my freshman year. You know, that was pretty cool. We got to go to a Disney recording studio.
Every band needs a great leader, and these students love their band director, Doug Blevins.
1, 2, ready, go!
If it wasn't for Mr. Blevins, I don't think I would have as good of a band experience as I have had.
Sophomore Alicia Contreras plays the clarinet, and she's ready to go.
I just joined band because I thought it would be fun, and we get to march around and just do things that I always thought were fun.
So before they take off for New Orleans, the band thought they'd warm up a little bit, but trust me, these kids are ready to go.
I'm really looking forward to the parade and then when we go into the Superdome, but I always like with the trips that you get a lot closer with all your friends in band.
Best part of this trip, you know, is just hanging out with the drum line, you know.
But first, they must endure 12 hours on a bus.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
12 hours in a bus. Yeah, that sounds like fun. But the real fun is Saturday afternoon, the longest parade these students have ever played in by far.
The parade is 6 miles long.
Our normal parade lengths, you know, they last for like, I don't know, close to an hour. This one's gonna be like 5 hours.
After the parade, they'll eat, and then it's back on the bus for another 12 hours. But I don't think anybody will be complaining. In Rogers, Scott Miller, 5 News.